Hello and welcome to this very special Sunday edition of Brass Tacks, coming to you live from Asia's largest television news station facility here in the National Capital Region. CNN News 18, India's #1 English news channel, has moved into this brand new facility, and we're going to be here now and for the future. And it's our absolute pleasure and delight to have your company for the very first ever Brass Tacks 9 p.m. edition this Sunday night from this brand new swanky premises. My name is Zaka Jacob. Let's get straight to the big story of the day. The big political story, the Prime Minister making a no-holds-barred attack on the opposition India alliance. Remember, this is the second time he has made an attack on the India alliance, saying they should quit India of corruption, they should quit India of dynastic politics. He had made a similar attack while he was making a political speech in Rajasthan last week. Now, once again, the Prime Minister saying that the opposition needs to quit India. But the opposition is not sitting quiet. They are hitting back, saying they are the ones who are protecting the very idea of India, and it's Mr. Modi and his government that are responsible for a democratic backslide. Before we get to our debaters and open this up to our guests, first, the story of the day. What did the Prime Minister say, and what was the response from the other side, from the opposition alliance?
आज पूरा देश हर बुराई के लिए कह रहा है, क्विट इंडिया। चारों तरफ एक ही गुंज है, करप्शन, क्विट इंडिया, डायनेस्टी, क्विट इंडिया, अपीजमेंट, क्विट इंडिया।
All right, so corruption, quit India, dynasty, quit India. Later this week, the Prime Minister will be facing a no-confidence motion. So how do the numbers stack up for the NDA and, of course, for the India alliance? Let's start with the NDA, the ruling alliance. Of course, they're sitting pretty as far as the numbers are concerned, because they have over 300. And those numbers have only increased over the last couple of years or so. 331 is where the NDA alliance is sitting at right now. 301 of those are with the BJP alone. The split in the Shiv Sena has ensured that the Shinde faction of the Sena has about 13. The RLJP, again a party that's split, Ramvilas Paswan's party, now his son has also rejoined the NDA, so they have 5. Ajit Pawar's NCP has 2, and the rest are 10. So that adds up to 331. So there's no question of any doubt as far as the numbers are concerned. The India alliance, on the other hand, has about half that strength, a little less than half that strength. The Congress has 49. The TMC has 23, the DMK has 24, the JDU, remember the JDU fought with the BJP in the last Lok Sabha election, they have 16, and the rest have 28. So together it adds up to 140, roughly about less than half of what the NDA has. So the no confidence motion is not about the numbers, it's more about perception. And then you have a bloc of about 60 odd seats of parties that are neither here nor there. Remember, the YSRCP and the BJD both have generally tended to vote with the government, including in last week's ordinance bill that was the Delhi ordinance, which later became a bill, and that was passed in the Lok Sabha by an overwhelming majority. The YSRCP has 22, the BJD has 12. Both of those parties voted with the government. The BSP, 9 seats. The TRS has 9. TRS likely to vote against the government and for the no confidence motion this week, and the remaining are 13. So this block of 65 also becomes important, not so much in terms of the no confidence motion being adopted or the confidence motion actually going through, but it will clear everybody's stand. It will clear where the YSRCP, BJD, BSP, TRS and other smaller parties are when it comes to standing with or against the Modi government. So that is where things stand right now. So a big political attack ahead of that no confidence motion, and possibly the participation of both Prime Minister Modi and Rahul Gandhi, who just last Friday, got a major reprieve with the Supreme Court staying the conviction in the defamation case. Will he now be reinstated as MP, and will it happen soon enough for him to take part in that debate? Joining us now on the debate tonight here on Brass Tacks, we have a full panel. RP Singh, BJP National Spokesperson; Mohan Kumar Mangalam is Congress Spokesperson; Nalin Mehta, Group Consulting Editor with Network 18; and Rashid Kidwai, Senior Journalist and author who tracks the Congress Party. Mohan Kumar Mangalam, let me start with you first. You know, when the India Alliance, the name was formed in Bengaluru when the group of parties met a few weeks ago, it was thought that, you know, it was a master stroke and the BJP will find it difficult to sort of attack the India Alliance. For 2 weeks now, last week and now, the Prime Minister has used this framing of quit India of corruption, quit India of dynastic politics. What is your response to the way he has framed this narrative?
No, I'm actually amazed that the Prime Minister can even talk about the Quit India movement, given that his predecessors, whether it was someone who he calls Veer Vinay Damodar Savarkar, the Hindu Mahasabha, the RSS, found common cause with Muhammad Ali Jinnah's Muslim League and actually supported the British during the Quit India movement when the rest of the country was asking the British to leave. In fact, when Congress resigned from all the governments that it was part of in all the states, the Muhammad Ali Jinnah's Muslim League and the Hindu Mahasabha got together and formed governments in Sindh in the northwest frontier province. So the only thing that the BJP and the predecessors quit was the Quit India movement itself. I saw his entire speech. In fact, he gave this speech on the occasion of inaugurating the renovation of several stations. But he chose, even though the forum was one where he could talk about railway safety, he could talk about any issues that any lessons they've learned from the Balasore tragedy or the recent RPF constable murdering 3 people in cold blood. He chose instead to talk about, make an entirely political speech and hurl accusations at the opposition. He even went as far as to say that the railway is hiring people. And this is a half-truth, given that there are 3 lakh vacancies in the railways today that the national government doesn't deem it fit to fill. So he went as always, his speeches as always are full of half-truths and lies. He said in his speech that the Congress has not built a single war memorial. There are 120 war memorials across this country. Country was not born in 2014. In fact, the most recent war memorial was one in Chandigarh that was inaugurated by then President Shri Abdul Kalam. So I'm at a loss of words when I see our Prime Minister again and again resort to lies and half-truths in his speeches.
So let me try and see if I can go to RP Singh. RP Singh of the BJP, respond to this. The Congress's Mohan Kumar Mangalam saying that, you know, war memorials were built by the Congress. He has also said that, this attack on the India Alliance, Quit India, as the Prime Minister has framed it, he is saying, how can the followers of Savarkar talk about Quit India, because he had joined hands with Jinnah and was responsible for the 2 nations? This is the Congress's charge, yes.
Zaka, let's talk about the war memorial first. Congress party is on record going against the war memorial. When we shifted and built up that big war memorial with the Kargil heroes and 1971 heroes and all more details about all those Indian Army heroes who laid their lives for the India, they were the one who opposed it. And then even recently, in one of the debates, one of the TV panelists also, their person who represents them in their party on the TV, they also opposed, they also mocked off it, that saying that war memorial has been shifted without any reason and all. That's just stated stand on war memorial. But coming to Quit India, I mean, don't you want India, the corruption corrupt should quit India or not? I mean, what's wrong in it? I mean, let's talk about the subject as on date. Is there any harm when we talk about that people who have been charge sheeted, people who have been convicted, I mean, they should be quitting India? I mean, people like Lalu Yadav or people like Tejasvi Yadav or even for that regard, Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, who are out on bail, or for example, Mr. Kejriwal's 2 ministers, Satinder Jain and Sisodia, who are in jail right now. I mean, all ministers of TMC who are in jail, and then the nephew is being inquired by the ED and other agencies. So all these are together only because of the corruption. That's the basic issue. The concern is that after 70 years, can we run this country with people who are deep neck in corruption, and can they lead this country? That's the question. They have just come together only because to safeguard themselves from all these cases. Had these cases not been there, they would not have come together. One. Secondly, also, that majority of them are all people who hail from dynasty. Who the parties are led by the dynasty. I mean, whether it's the Congress or whether it is the RJD or whether it is the TMC.
All right.
So, or whether it is the DMK. I mean, all these parties are led by dynasts, and only to safeguard their dynastic corruption interest.
RP Singh, Mohan Kumar Mangalam, just give me a moment. I'm going to open up a latest tweet that has come before I go to Nalin Mehta and to Rashid Kidwai. This latest tweet has come from the Vice President, Jagdeep Dhankar. He has just put out this tweet, and I'm going to read from it from our Twitter screen here. Parliament is a temple where debate, discussion and dialogue must take place. That's what the Vice President has just tweeted. No one expects Parliament to be engaged in disturbance. You want your representatives to function in the national interest. Jagdeep Dhankar was speaking at a function of the Ministry of Culture. He's also subsequently also posted more from that particular thread. And I just want to open his official Twitter page where he says, just scrolling down, there you go. Some among us make sinister efforts with pernicious motives to taint, tarnish and demean our institutions. Attend to their point of view. If convinced otherwise, never hesitate to neutralize anti-Bharat narrative. So that is what the Vice President of India, Jagdeep Dhankar, has just tweeted. He was speaking, of course, at a Ministry of Culture event. Let me go back to our guests, to Nalin Mehta and to Rashid Kidwai. Nalin Mehta, you know, again, it comes back to this whole framing of the narrative. And clearly, Mr. Modi is a master when it comes to, you know, shaping narratives ahead of the big 2024 election. Do you see this sticking? You have the opposition India alliance, and you have the Prime Minister now for the second time in about a week or so repeating this quit India line of attack against the opposition. Is that working on the ground? Are people buying into that framing of narrative?
So, first of all, Zaka, I think you're right in terms of creating a narrative for 2024. You know, you can also see echoes of this in what he tried in 2014, what the BJP did very successfully in 2019, which was this Namdar versus Kamdar trope. I think these three keywords, corruption, appeasement, dynasty, they kind of signify what the BJP is trying to distinguish itself from, right? Appeasement is very much a dog whistle, if you like, for Hindu nationalism. Corruption, he's kind of making a distinction between the Congress with the dynasty with the BJP. I'm not sure after 2 terms in power. Look, this will appeal to the core voters. It will appeal to a large bunch of BJP voters for sure. But I'm not sure this necessarily has an appeal to a much larger group of non-aligned voters, but I think what the BJP is betting on, and what the Prime Minister is betting on, is that as long as the India alliance or the opposition alliance does not have necessarily a very clear leader and a very clear alternative to Mr. Modi in a presidential kind of contest, then you know you can always put the question of Modi versus who, and in that context, then all of these things they can align the narrative in a particular manner. I think that's what the Prime Minister is trying to do.
So Rashid, you know, what is then the opposition's counter narrative to that? We're going to have the no confidence motion. I just gave out the numbers on our screen before the debate began. So it's not a question of the numbers game. Clearly, the opposition doesn't have the numbers. The BJP has the numbers. The NDA has the numbers. So if that is not the reason why there's no confidence has been brought in, and the only reason was to make the Prime Minister speak in Parliament, he's going to use the forum of Parliament. He's going to use the platform of Parliament to once again shape the narrative for 2024 and show the opposition in bad light. And if it's going to be Rahul Gandhi versus Narendra Modi in terms of a narrative shaping battle, speeches from the floor of the House, clearly Mr. Modi has the odds on Mr. Gandhi because he is a much better orator. We've seen that in the 2018 vote as well, and we could likely see this now in 2023. Rashid.
Yeah, so Zaka, you're absolutely right in terms of that. Mr. Modi is a fabulous speaker, and he's a very good orator, and he has the ability to lead the attack. But whole Rahul Gandhi episode, this is disqualification and subsequent court pronouncement, etc., have not, covered BJP in glory. So first of all, the point is whether Rahul Gandhi is going to be back tomorrow. There will be delay, and there's going to be a lot of controversy and bad blood between opposition and the ruling party tomorrow and day after, before the no confidence motion is taken up. As a citizen, Zaka, sometimes we wonder, when Prime Minister speaks against corruption, what is the rate of conviction in political cases of people who are corrupt? Usually having people getting arrested or on bail or getting hounded by ED, etc., is one part of narrative, but basically it's about whether somebody is innocent or guilty. That has to be proved in court of law. In terms of dynasty, what kind of signal is there when you have people like Ajit Pawar joining the BJP alliance and becoming deputy chief minister? Or so a week before that, Prime Minister spoke about 70,000 crore Ghotala scam, irrigation scam in Maharashtra. So a lot of conflicting signals are there. As my friend Nalin is saying, this is only caters to the core. There's nothing new that is coming forward, and that's where I think the India alliance has a head start, in the sense that they have set a cat among pigeons. The BJP was forced to bring 38 political parties together, and since then the Prime Minister has been saying that it's not India, it's a Ghamandiya, etc. I mean, these are words that are there, but they are basically sometimes they sound very hollow.
Okay, so RP Singh and then Mohan Kumar Mangalam. RP Singh, so to the charge, both Nalin and Rashid that are saying this, there's nothing new that is being offered. At least in the case of the India Alliance, they're offering something new. These parties have come together. You could argue their sole intention is to dislodge Mr. Modi, to dislodge one man. But what is it that the Prime Minister, the BJP, the NDA, what is it new that you're offering to the people of India?
Well, I'll answer that also. But before that, let's talk about this no confidence motion also. No confidence motion has already we have seen what's happened in Lok Sabha. Tomorrow we'll see what will happen in Rajya Sabha. Where is the no confidence motion? As per me, this is a complete tug of war or a race going on between Aam Aadmi Party and Congress. Kejriwal said this is going to be semi-final. I mean, the big narrative was built that this is going to be semi-final, and this will finish Mr. Prime Minister Modi, and then this will lead to a good final leg. So this was the target of Mr. Kejriwal, and then he went to each and every leader of the opposition. He went to each and every door of the leader of the opposition and convinced them, let's play this semi-final and finish Prime Minister Modi. But Congress thought it otherwise. Congress took it otherwise. That if Kejriwal is able to succeed in projecting himself as a person who's playing semi-final, then where will Rahul Gandhi go? And that's why vote of no confidence was brought in. I mean, there was no other reason for it, because Mr. Thankar and then our Om Birla ji has categorically said, let's discuss, and then Amit Shah ji has said, let's discuss Manipur. I mean, it was not for Manipur. Objective was there's a race going on between the two parties also.
So, Mohan Kumar Mangalam, final word. The objective of the no confidence was not to speak or discuss Manipur. The objective was this competition going on between opposition parties. And now, all the more so after Rahul Gandhi's the conviction has been stayed. It now paves the way for him to return to Parliament. Clearly, in the India alliance, he becomes the odds-on favourite to be the leader of that alliance. That is not something that Mamata Banerjee or Arvind Kejriwal or even a Nitish Kumar might be particularly comfortable with.
So I don't think any of the members of the India Alliance are worried about Mr. Gandhi returning to Parliament. In fact, I think everyone tweeted welcoming the verdict and welcoming him back to Parliament as and when the Lok Sabha Secretariat reinstates him in Parliament. I'm not sure where this semi-final logic is coming from. I actually didn't understand what he was talking about. I will say, though, comically enough, that maybe what the Prime Minister meant when he said, corruption needs to quit India, he was talking about corruption quitting the India Alliance and going to BJP, because they have the biggest washing machine, whether it is Ajit Pawar, whether it is Himanta Sharma in Assam. All these people were accused of corruption, and Mr. Modi spoke very eloquently at election rallies, and Mr. Amit Shah did, about them being corrupt and, seeped in corruption. And as soon as they went over to his side, they all became, white as milk, if you will.
Okay.
And the other
All
thing
right.
I want
I'm
to say is
completely
that
out
as
of
far as
time. Sorry
dynasty
for the
is
truncated
concerned,
debate tonight. Mohan Kumar Mangalam, RP Singh, Rashid Kidwai, and Naren Mehta. Many, many thanks indeed for joining us. It is going to be a big, big week in Parliament this week because you will have the no confidence motion. You will hear from the Prime Minister, and possibly you could even hear from Rahul Gandhi. But we've got big breaking story coming in from Pakistan, and this is courtesy our investigations editor Manoj Gupta, who's getting you the inside track a day after Imran Khan was arrested. Now we're getting the sense of why this particular move happened. Remember, we're given to understand now that on the 9th of August, that's going to be later this week, the Pakistan National Assembly, the parliament there, is going to be dissolved, and we're given to understand that fresh dates for elections will be announced. This is exclusive input that's come in from our investigations editor Manoj Gupta. He's learned that August 9th, the Pakistan National Assembly will be dissolved. The interim government, the caretaker government, will be announced, and also the date for elections. The critical one, of course, is that Nawaz Sharif could likely return in September, and that would pave the way now for elections to happen sometime in the latter half of the year, possibly October, maybe even November. Let's try and get some reactions going in on this story. I believe Shahbaz Sharif, the current Prime Minister, has spoken on this issue.
मैं 9 तारीख को अपनी हुकूमत यानी असेंबली को डिसॉल्व कर दूंगा। बाकी फिर अल्लाह के हाथ में है। उसके बाद इंटरिम गवर्नमेंट आएगी और फिर उसके बाद इलेक्शन होंगे।
All right, Abhishek Jha, my colleague, covers the MEA for us. Abhishek, bring us up to speed. So is it now paving the way, for the dissolution of the assembly, and also paving the way for Nawaz Sharif to return so that he can contest in the elections? Because yesterday you had Imran Khan being arrested. Now the road is being cleared.
Of course, it looks like the government, the incumbent government, is very clear on how it is going to go ahead with the upcoming general election. The caretaker government is being rumored for a very long time that Shahbaz Sharif will be handing the charge to caretaker government. The only obstacle has been a consensus leader. Ishaq Dar is the candidate that PML has been proposing, but PPP, Asif Ali Zardari faction, has been not very keen on having Ishaq Dar, who has a very close relation, family ties with Nawaz Sharif's family. So that is one reason why this caretaker government's announcement probably has not happened so far, and who will be the caretaker government.
All right.
And Nawaz Sharif also in the recent week.
Okay, Abhishek, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how the story plays out. If it does indeed pave the way for Nawaz Sharif to return and take part in the elections, then it's clear that the intent behind arresting Imran Khan was to do exactly this, for a change of guard, as it were, in Pakistan. That's a wrap of this Sunday edition, this very special Sunday edition of Brass Tacks from our brand new swanky facility here in the National Capital Region. This is going to be our new home for now and for the foreseeable future. If you've been tuned in to this first edition of Brass Tacks Sunday from this new facility, thank you very much for your time. I'll catch you again tomorrow night, same time, 9 o'clock, for another edition of Brass Tacks.
India's #1 news channel moves to a new destination.
A never-seen-before news ecosystem in the history of India.
An unrivaled news studio that elevates